Oh, the June fire isn't going anywhere, huh?
No, that's why those guys came out to burn that line. It's at the stage where all we can do is pay attention to it.
They're not gonna try to put it out?
Not yet, apparently.
I found where they did the controlled burn. I can hike right through here now.
Yeah, normally they wouldn't do that so close to a body of water, but I think they're extra worried about a fire jumping the river and burning up to 2 forks, now that there's someone in it.
Well, I'm extra appreciative of that.
Let's see. The scout camp is southeast of the river. There should be a pond on the way.
Got it. What happens if a controlled burn gets out of control?
Someone gets fired.
Ugh, are you serious?
Oh, come on. That one was an honest accident. I'm not even in the mood for wordplay. That's how wound up all this shit has me.
Hi, Jake.
Hey, Jane. In this garden surrounded by scary mannequins seems like a great place to talk about how you figure out perspective and scale when making a level.
Yeah, so, when you start making a game, one of the first things you need to do is to have scale reference. So, what we did was just download a bunch of free scale models, actually.
Yep, just some royalty-free, T-posed
Yes.
nude men and women.
I think like the man is just the default ZBrush man.
Before you put in the trees and before you put in the grass and before you put in the rocks, when all you have is terrain, it can look like it's like a 6-foot wide hallway or it's like a 1/4 mile wide and you can't even tell in first person. But then once, boop, there's just a little nude man out there.
Yeah.
You really know.
Yeah, how tall is this tree? Oh my gosh, it's actually, it's a really tall tree.
Yeah,
it looks tiny before you put a scale man.
So there's also, you'll notice there's a collection of different scale men out here. When we first dropped our scale our scale people in,
Yes.
they came in with some default material that was like this glistening onyx stone.
I think the default Unity material back then was just some very glossy black.
Yeah, so we had these like just rippling, glistening stone statues, including parts.
Full anatomy.
There were some parts that were very good at catching the light, and I think when Nels was gray boxing,
the bikini part.
yeah, Nels was like, I I gotta get in real close on some parts of this level, and I just don't know about this. So then the next day when we got latest...
It's very distracting when the gloss material is...
It's debatable, though, if that's more or less distracting than the jean shorts that were slapped on. It feels to me, Jane, like in early dev, as you got bored, you just kept like festooning the scale man with more stuff.
I think there was one of those times when I was like, is it worth spending 15 minutes to make myself happy?
Yes.
And I was like, yes.
And then
it's
like
worth
maybe
15 minutes
maybe
to put
some more time to
shorts on
add
this.
some love handles, and
Oh, yes.
then like some heart-shaped chest hair. Who's to say? Who's to
You know,
say?
15 minutes turned into 30 minutes of fun, and now, you know.
Oh man! By the end of the production,
It's
Gray
so
Box
worth
thing was
it.
really fun. Or like you'd know that there was someone was in there working because you would just see all these like
Yeah.
love-handled jorts, Henry chest hair dudes floating all over the place.
I think my favorite parts is also when you've done level designing a space. Sometimes you've lifted the terrain without lifting the scalemen. So sometimes once in a while I'm like, why is this area kind of not performing great? And I look under the earth and there's like four
There's just
buried
floating
scalemen
never
underneath.
nudes.
They're
That's
like,
fine.
oh, thanks, Jake. Delete.
It's fine. Yeah,
Those are my favorite little Jake surprises.
it's good. Or like you'll see one off in the sky. Like in this case, there's a couple deliberately way out in the distance because I wanted people to look at how forced perspective works also. So you know, zoom in on some jorts, guys. Be happy.
Oh, actually, another note about the scale lady here. She's actually the same model that we use for the teens in the lake.
Oh, that's true.
We just added a ponytail, really.
And sparklers.
Hi, it's Jane again. So Nels, what is a controlled burn?
A controlled burn is actually a technique that real wildland firefighters use. They actually have these amazing things called drip cans, which are basically like Tin Man oil can, except they're just full of like extremely flammable fluid and they're always on fire. So yeah, it's awesome. So basically firefighters will dig a bunch of like fire breaks and then use these drip cans to light a bunch of small controlled fires to burn out all the flammable materials in an area that that a big like proper uncontrolled wildfire is approaching, so that when the fire, due to the wind or whatever, gets to that area is already burned, so the fire can't keep spreading kind of past where that burn was. So in the case in the game right here, the idea is that the firefighter crew burned out all the fuel right next to the river so that the fire couldn't be blown basically across the river. That the hope is between the controlled burn and the river itself, the fire wouldn't actually spread all the way up to Two Forks and beyond. As you will discover later in the game, they did not succeed at that. As is often the case in the real world, fires are nothing if not unpredictable.
In terms of technically how we achieve this, basically we have a pre-burn sector that is all lush and beautiful, full of trees that you cannot push through, so it works great as a gate. And after the controlled burn in the story, we swap the whole area, this whole piece, including the ground and all the trees in it, with a new piece of artwork, basically, to the post-burn sector, which lets the player walk right through.
It's interesting that like there's kind of this baseline of the world, and then there are these almost just two chunks just sitting right on top of it.
The world is kind of made of tiles in a way, so like we have the option to swap different tiles in and out, and this is a great place to use that technology.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
There's an old pond out here, not much more than a pile of mud. Do you have it on your map?
Yeah, I know where you are.
Yeah, where am I?
Pork Pond. There used to be a sign up for it, but, well, folks kept stealing it.
Because it's called Pork Pond.
It's a good goddamn name. That sign would look great in a den, or, anywhere.
So, is the scout camp anywhere near Pork Pond?
Yeah, it is. Just keep heading east. You'll cross a small ravine, and you shouldn't be able to miss it.
Thing that is great about Pork Pond, other than it is called Pork Pond, which is a wonderful thing to say. You want to say it?
Pork pond.
Pork Pond. Pork Pond.
It's not even really a pond.
It's barely a pond.
It's like a pork puddle, really.
It's a pork puddle. It may have been a pond at one point. Later, dear player, hopefully you noticed that there is a Pork Pond sign in Delilah's lookout tower. After Delilah has told you, if you talk about Pork Pond, that people just keep stealing the sign. So
How
that's
it
why
looks
there's no
great
sign.
in like a den, or
A den, or
a
right in
lookout
front of
cabin,
me.
really.
Yeah, and that's one of those things that was really fun about making this game with such a small team, is that I named Pork Pond after my girlfriend's dog, Pork Belly, who I like very much. He has a Japanese chin, and he is very weird. And then I wrote the goof about the sign not being there because there wasn't a sign. And then the next thing I knew, someone said, "Oh, it should be in Delilah's lookout." I don't know if that was you, Jane, but that's the sort of thing you would do. Is
Might
you'd be like,
be.
"I was playing the game, and I felt like that Pork Pond sign should be in Delilah's
Like
tower."
if I were Delilah, I would have totally stolen it.
Exactly right. So then we just say yes, and we keep putting goofs into the game. So that is the Ballad of Pork Pond.
Pork
Pond.
puddle pond.
Pork Puddle Pond. I like this is our only tape together.
I know. It's
And
about pork
it was
pond.
just us saying Pork Pond about 15 or 20 times. Pork Pond.
Pork pond.
There's some old snowmobiles out here.
That's crazy.
It looks like one of the poor bastards was cruising across Old Pork Pond and dumped it.
That was not a fun hike back to civilization.
Whoa. Someone stripped these snowmobiles down to the bone.
Huh.
I mean, that's weird, right?
I mean, I can come up with a bunch of not weird reasons someone would do that out here, but given what's happened, yeah. Yeah, that's weird.
Arapahoe.
You're there?
Yeah, I am.
It's been out there since the 50s.
I was never really into the idea of the Scouts. It's something about men organizing boys around their ideals. Never sat right with me.
Beware weebelows in large numbers.
Beware of anyone in large numbers. The bridge to the camp is out.
Damn.
I'm gonna walk the ravine and see if I can find some high ground to get across.
Good plan.
Talk to any of the Scouts?
No, they haven't been out here in a while, and I generally don't have a lot to say to preteens.
Unless it's Brian Goodwin.
Well, if forced, I mean, I can make conversation with anyone. Plus, it was sort of fun to hear about all of his nerdy hobbies.
I mean, he wasn't a Scout or a Weebelo or whatever?
I got the sense that boy could barely tie his shoes, let alone a clove hitch.
What the hell's a clove hitch?
Well, it's a knot that you are probably too old and too stubborn to learn. You use it to make rafts and shelters and stuff like that.
You know how to tie one?
Heck no, I'd make a weebelow do it.
I guess these little shelters are where they keep the Weeblos.
For the past 35 years, yeah.
There are bear traps out here in the Scout shelters.
Scouts are stalwart prey.
That's messed up. Yeah, these guys are gone. I found where they were sitting around before getting picked up.
Damn.
I found a little trowel. Maybe I should take it with me. Could use it to pop open beers.
Wow, 99% sure that's for burying poop.
And I already touched it.
Well,
Hey, Dee, they left something behind. It's like a memo from their boss.
did it say anything of note?
Next few days, dropping into the thoroughfare on behalf of Dr. Simmons at Wapiti Station.
Wapiti Station?
Holy crap.
Keep reading.
Oh, I just thought I would maybe, stop there, let the mystery percolate.
My mother always said I would meet someone who'd give me a taste of my own medicine.
They're running a research site out there. He was worried about wildfires.
Someone is writing down our conversations. And now we find out there's a research site out here that we don't know about? What are they researching?
Us. They're researching us.
You think they're studying you and me?
I do, yeah. I mean, maybe it's about studying two strangers who talk every day.
Like, if you put someone in isolation with someone else, what they do.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Well, fuck that.
Agreed.
I think we should allow for the possibility that this is all just a big misunderstanding, but... God, if you saw what you said you did, Fuck, Henry.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. So what's next?
I'm gonna do a scan for supplies and then figure out a way to get back over that ravine and hike towards the site.
Sounds good. Check in when you can, and keep an eye out for anyone following you.
I found an axe.
If one of the crew left it, that thing is actually called a Pulaski.
It looks like an axe to me. This thing will be a huge help.
For both getting through the backcountry and getting through that fence.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Hi, this is Will.
And this is James again.
And if you look around, you should see a TV in front of you with a pretty weird looking image on it. That is actually what Henry looks like from third person. So you're looking at Henry as we saw him in Unity Editor.
Yeah, Henry is very much sort of an ultimate Cronenberg nightmare. He's got sort of like, we called them the spider bones, where you can stretch his shoulders really far away from his torso. Early on, I remember looking at a GIF with the team of like how Crysis was doing their first-person stuff, and if you looked at it, you could sort of see his spine and neck becoming this mad giraffe creature, and we took that concept and ran with it. So we ended up sort of like almost any animation in the game, if you look at it from outside of the exact angle we want you to, it would completely destroy immersion and you'd be horrified and possibly sick.